Hey folks, this is your old pal on Cloud. We're going to talk about the caloric count system and why I don't use it. Caloric count system was developed by Germany, Japan, and Italy during World War II and partially was used by France for economical reasons. The calorie count system is very bad because people don't understand serving size. So if you're fighting the Russians and you get 1,500 calories a day and your meal size is like this, I don't think you do very well at angry Russians. Okay? This is why I was on a live stream and I was talking about it too. USDA, okay, Department of Agriculture, found out after an event, a serious one. Easiest transport of food is 350 pounds to 400 pounds of a whole grain. Now, they had some problems, and I already discussed this many times, but nobody watches that video because nobody realized how important this is, and sooner or later it's going to bite them in the butt. If you're a prepper and you don't have that bulk supply, if you're not serious about it, you're not going to survive more than 6 months on the caloric count system. You may push it to about 8 months, but after that, digestive fiber, food fatigue, I forgot the other one, food fatigue, metabolic problems, because you only packed certain amounts and you didn't take care of that amount. Okay? I keep telling everybody, nothing is normal. All right, so I have to go over this. Now, I did discuss this on dried and prepared and freeze dried. You could do up to 250 pounds. That's not a problem. That's one person, 1 year. I have to recommend to people who are in apartments, it's going to be really hard because you do not have the space or storage. Okay? And a lot of people will only have this one and that one, and I don't think you get this and that. You only have an apartment, maybe 1 or 2 months worth of food. Okay? So you got to understand what you're doing. Now, go back to this. We have bulk, dry, pre-packed, and freeze-dried. And we also covered canned and jarred. Now, canned, you could go up to 200 pounds. That's canned and jarred. You have to be careful. You have to make sure you watch the expiration dates and what kind of canned goods you have. It's a nice treat. In the U.S. military, it was a good way to store food. Okay, biggest user of canned foods was Italy and U.S., but Italy had a supply problem, also corruption. They didn't understand this. This is why I tell people to buy and read this book. All right, you have to understand what's going on. Can and jar always push, and that's only 200 pounds. Okay, for one person. That isn't that much. If you do it on the spreadsheet and you do it correctly, you have to make sure you know what you're doing on expiration date, how the food reacts to certain temperature and environmental controls. Now on dry, go back up. Dry and pre-packed, like pasta and other dehydrated foods, you just add water and it's not a problem. Problem with freeze-dried foods, you have to be careful because it lacks oils, and you do not want to freeze-dried oils because it goes rancid inside the machine. People don't realize it. That's why you can't freeze-dry avocados. You can wait 2 months and you try to eat that and you'll find out. Shrimp is another thing. Lobster is another thing. Certain seafoods I do not recommend to be freeze-dried. And I have a list because I used to help out at a church, volunteer. And I keep telling people if you put in something higher than 15 to 10% fat, it will go rancid. Doesn't matter how nicely you store it, it will go rancid. That's why a lot of freeze-dried food commercially have all these chemicals. so they could slow down their and reduce the rancidity rate. I mean, rancid rate. So here's you with your simple answer. I bought a whole bunch of Mountain House. Here's you in 3 days in the bathroom because it lacks certain oil and digestive fibers, and it'll screw up your intestines. If you look at the NASA photos, they had one student ate nothing but freeze dried. It's worse than the guy who ate nothing but instant ramen for 4 years, and look at what happened. You guys don't understand. Everything must be in a balance. So if you eat dehydrated food, it's fine for 2 meals, but the third meal better be hot and full of vegetables for digestive fiber and combat food fatigue. And if you ask Wayne, the ungrateful peasant, what food fatigue is, and he'll tell you. Okay? Again, I keep telling people read this book, but nobody ever reads anything. Now, on cost and budgeting, we have how to develop a low-cost food system. It's really easy. I do the bulk system because it's easier mathematically and also by spreadsheet. Now, a lot of people, they screwed this one up. And I've seen a lot of people, if they have positioned things incorrectly, it only lasts for 6 months. Okay? You have to be careful about this. Okay, now we already covered bulk, which is 350 to 400 pounds of dry bulk material. Why? Because like wheat and corn, you could grow it. The others, it's hard. But on bulk, it's multi-purpose. You can make it into a flour. You can make it into a gruel. You can bake with it. You can make pasta with it. It's a multitask. That's why the USDA went with, oops, I have too many cardboard, sorry. Went with bulk grains as the immediate solution to a major, across the United States to feed people. Now, it's your job to balance that. If you get like 400 pounds of grain and you don't know how to process it, you're Okay, now, I always tell people know how to process and how to take care of it. Dry items like legumes, seeds, stuff like that. Know how long you can keep that. Up to 250 pounds. All right, if you do calorie count for 4 people, that comes out 5,000 to 4,000 pounds. If you do a calorie count, this is only 1,095 pounds for one person. If it's a child under age 12, 500 pounds. Teenagers is same as a woman, so you're looking at about 1,000 pounds of food. All right, we're not talking about caloric content because the Germans and Japanese did it and they screwed up really bad. Canned and jarred foods. Their only big problem is they're heavy, they're full of fluid, and you have to be careful on the environment they are in. Next one is frozen. Okay, frozen is great if you know what you do it, and you can store up to 100 pounds of frozen food per person. Okay, I tell a lot of people freeze meat. Freeze certain food items that are pre-made so you always instantly cook it, and that's not a problem. Frozen, if you're freezing meat, it's fine. That's how the B system works in the military. A lot of people didn't understand this. A lot of people still don't. Okay? And then you have fresh. Fresh is part of the B system. You have A, B, and C. And B system was commonly used in the military until about, I think 1992, and I switched to a different system, and they still have problems. Okay? People prefer fresh and frozen, all right, for their hot meal. It's good for morale. It's good for the digestive system. If you're too long on canned goods, dry goods, or bulk goods or freeze-dried, it starts to affect you. And people are like, well, I can take vitamin pills and this and that, and supplements and micro supplements. Well, guess who did that? Germany, Japan, and Italy in World War II. Okay, and to heighten this, they added meth. Now that's nuts. Okay, you have to understand. We're going to go back to this. We're going to cover frozen and fresh in a later video. But right now, think about canned foods. I already went down the list, up to 200 pounds per person. So you have to judge what kind of canned food you want. And you have to subtract the weight of the can from the food inside and also figure out what's the serving and caloric content of it. It's a lot of math, and a lot of people, they use spreadsheets. But if you use a spreadsheet wrong or a notebook wrong, you end up with less than 6 months worth of food. And you end up like the donut party. Yeah, Billy Bob looks pretty good over there. I think I'll take a chunk out of him. Okay, so think very carefully. This is the other part of food myths. So you got to watch out for it. Food fatigue, digestive fibers, metabolic problems. Okay, and the fourth one, big one, rancidity. Okay, the 4 big food myths. So you understand that and you're okay. So figure it out. Be careful on calorie count because a lot of people goof that up really bad. Same as Germany, same as Japan. And I'll catch you later. Bye, folks.